It's late.
Oh, okay, Cody. No, seriously, Anthony, why are you a black screen?
No, seriously, Jake, why are you 30 minutes
One mystery,
late?
yeah, mysteries. There's lots of mysteries.
Well, yeah.
All right, Anthony, let's see the big reveal.
This is the big reveal.
Oh,
this is why I had to wait for.
All right.
I had to wait for
Let's see this
Jake.
shit.
No, because it's. Well, maybe no. Let's talk about it first. Let's get into the episode first.
No,
really?
Why is he a black screen?
No. You'll know why. You'll know
No,
why. Let
this
me
is-
just stay incognito for a second.
All right, fine. This better be worth it.
It will be.
All right.
Okay, so what's up, guys?
I don't know. I thought you were going to start us with your usual Cody updates of the week.
I mean, nothing crazy has been happening this week. I'm silly poor, and life is hard. But other than that, everything's great. I'm about to smoke hash on this episode.
Hash.
Yeah.
What is the difference between hash and regular weed?
Hash is like when you take like bottoms and keef and stuff like that and compress it into a brick. It's like a precursor to dabs, I think.
Oh, okay, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, you need like a pollen press or something like that to make a little nice. Yeah. Ooh. Well, I'm excited to see how that goes. Are you combining it with weed or just
I'm
straight
just
up?
gonna sprinkle it on top.
Nice.
Because dabs caused me to have panic attacks, so I imagine hash would be this. Because I smoked it one other time last week, and it fucked me up.
Well, hopefully you don't have a panic attack on this episode.
That'd be pretty cool. It would be on brand for the topic, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess it would.
It would be. Actually, yeah, you're right. That's a good point, to be honest.
So fuck it. Yeah, have a panic attack.
It also would be because this episode deals with a lot of Christopher's
Anxiety,
yeah.
mental health issues, guilt.
Is there going to be a segue into this reveal, Anthony? Because this shit's giving me anxiety.
Of course. I wasn't planning on that, but that's cool, you know?
No, it's definitely having an effect on me.
Yeah, it's weird, you know, starting an all black screen. But no, I think we should first reveal what we're doing because this is the first episode of something different we're doing for the summer, you know?
Ooh.
Yeah, last summer we did the Sandman summer. This summer we're doing Sopranos Summer.
That's right.
Yeah.
Every week we'll take a specific episode out of each season to talk about and also talk about that season of Sopranos.
Yeah.
So we love this show. We're comics and chronic, but like we said earlier on, comics can mean we're just, you know, comedians. We're going to talk about shit that doesn't necessarily have to be comic books.
We're funny people.
Yeah.
And guess what? One of us is also a bona fide Italian, and that's me.
That is a great reveal.
Anthony Iannaccio is here. It's Sopranos Summer.
Anthony, this is the most Italian I've ever seen you look in your life.
Yeah, for sure. You look. This is honestly the scariest you've ever looked.
Yeah. This is the most intimidating you could possibly look at.
So if I was like sitting on my stoop in the Bronx like this, you'd be like, "Oh, just keep walking, just keep walking."
Yeah, I'd be like, that's a crazy giddy right there.
Yeah, that's a made man.
You look very Christopher-esque.
Yeah.
This is Anthony Moltisanti over here.
Hey, I related to Christopher in a lot of ways, to be honest.
I think he's actually one of the more relatable characters.
Right?
Yeah.
By the way, when I was a kid, right, my first screen name was like some corny shit, like kids only shit, like USA Boy, something like that. My first screen name was USA Boy 5204.
Gay?
And it was I didn't like that name, but it was like I had it, and then hey, it's 4th of July, so you know, USA Boy. throwback.
You look like any Italian right now standing out in the Bronx.
Yeah, lighting a firework,
Lighting a
cigar in his mouth or
firework,
something.
yeah.
Smacking his girlfriend.
Yeah, well,
Smacking his girlfriend.
no, but then as I got older, like my friends would be like, "Oh, Anthony, you're Italian. Oh, that means you're in the mafia, right?" Like that would just be the thing everyone says. Like you're Italian, you're in the mafia. So I'm like, yeah. And then my friend's like, your new screen name should be Mafia Tony. That was my screen name for like forever until I became Tony Nacho. I was just like Mafia Tony. Up in like high school, I was like
That's
Mafia
so fucking
Tony.
funny.
Dude, I was going to ask you, especially after watching this episode, just because I think I ask most Italians that I know, including my brother-in-law, did you know anyone in the mafia or have any family who was connected?
Ooh, see, do I know anyone? No, not like outright. Like that
Yeah.
if someone was in it, they didn't tell me, and I don't suspect anyone I know. But in my family directly, no. Oh, Rob Moretti. Let's get Rob Moretti on and ask him that question.
He's in the mafia.
If you know us and you have a vowel in your name, come on the show. We need to ask you a question or two. No, but not in my family, but so like my family is from Arthur Avenue, which is like the Little Italy of the Bronx, right?
Hey, shout out.
And yeah, shout out Arthur Avenue. Also, if you visit the Bronx or New York City, you should go there. It's always good food, good stuff.
Yeah.
And but like they would do stuff when they were younger as kids, and like the neighborhood, like the mafia would basically like protect the neighborhood. That was how things just were back then, you know. Like
I'm picturing you like little Colosio in a Bronx Tale right now.
Bronx Tale. No joke. It takes place. They film it on Arthur Avenue in a place where my family would hang out. Like the Bronx Tale is like it wasn't their lives, but they knew people like that. You know what I'm saying? But like I'm saying, no one in my family, but it was like adjacent to everything my family grew up around.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's awesome.
I in high school was interested in a girl whose uncle was supposedly mob connected, and he threatened to break my kneecaps once.
Nice.
Oh shit!
He was supposedly connected to the like San Francisco like brand. You know what I'm saying?
Chapter. What did you do, and how old were you? How did you react to that?
I was like 16. I if I'm being honest, I cried. Just because he was a big, scary man, and I was 16, and honestly, like pretty, like unexperienced in the ways of the world.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, that's how I would react now if someone was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna break your fucking kneecaps."
No, but it was just like one of those things that, like, he took me in the other room one day when I was like hanging out and was like, "Hey, you hurt my niece, and I'm gonna fuck you up," and I was like, "I'm not coming back here again, I promise."
Dude, well, this is Comics and Chronic, episode 1 of Sopranos Summer. Today we are doing season 1, episode 8, The Legend of Tennessee Moltisanti. In case you guys have not watched The Sopranos before, it was created by David Chase, who is shout out from Mount Vernon, the 914.
Oh,
So is actually
native
Michael Imperioli, Christopher Moltisanti. He's from Mount Vernon too.
Nice.
And Salvatore Bombacero, aka Big Pussy. We represented in the 914 right here.
Maybe a show about New Jersey, but we got a lot of.
And of course, me, Jake.
Jake's from the 914.
Who could forget?
One day, Jake's going to be the most famous person to come from the 914.
Yeah, we have some competition. We got Devon Dudley and Ray Rice.
Oh, shit. Okay. One day, Jake is going to be the third most famous person to come
Guaranteed.
from the 914.
Third or fourth at least. I think by the end of the decade, at least fifth or sixth most famous.
I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
Right?
I'd
be happy with like 12th, 13th, 14th.
Also, Ray Rice fell from grace. I feel like I could.
True. True.
You could beat his legacy.
Yeah, I could beat his legacy. But I like this episode a lot.
Dude, it's insane. It starts
Amazing.
out. Oh, I'm sorry. You go first. I cut you off.
Dude, this episode, even though like the whole entire series deals with it, but this episode deals heavy with Tony's therapy, especially like people hearing about it, like his mom and his uncle talking about it, and like the stigma it has in like old world middle class Italian American culture. like they're not about therapy. They're not about
Yeah,
No.
that conversation between Tony and Christopher in the car highlights that. Like, you know, they both don't really feel that way, but they have to like put on that mask of like Italian
Tony was like
dudes
totally projecting onto Christopher in the car. He's like, I bet you sleep all the time, and you know, like he kept saying things. He's like, I bet you feel like doing this and doing that, and then he even says, he's like, have you ever thought about killing yourself? And Christopher says, I'm no mental midget. And Tony's like,
that exact phrase.
Like, so I don't know. It's a cool, and then also deals with Christopher's desire to be like famous and a screenwriter.
Yeah, Christopher's desire to be famous and a screenwriter. It really talks about mental health. I really like the emphasis on Tony and Dr. Melby's relationship in this episode. Melfi, you know what I'm saying? I'm high, man. I just smoked some hash. Stugats.
Good. For now on, for all these episodes we do, you have to. That's how you do a mic check.
Gabagool. Yeah, dude, I love Dr. Melfi's and Tony's relationship, and also her relationship of like defending him to her ex-husband and kid, and, like family and shit.
Yeah, I really like that discussion, that family discussion they have about being Italian in America.
Yeah.
Like I could relate to that discussion a lot. You know, I liked what he was saying at first, because here's the funny thing. Before I watched Sopranos, you know, I would kind of, I guess, be on his side in that argument where he's like saying like, look at how Italians are portrayed in the media. Like whenever they come up, it's like, oh, you're in the mafia or something like that. But the way The Sopranos portrays that, and, you know, it's a piece of media, like if we're being meta about it, you know, like Sopranos, I think convinced me like, oh, it's inaccurate. Like it was never, no episode of Sopranos, including this one, has ever made me feel like they were like doing a caricature of Italian Americans. It always felt extremely accurate, you know? So that scene at the family dinner table felt real to me, and I could really relate to it.
I also like what her son is like.
Yes.
The father is like, all we're known for is Goodfellas and Godfather. And he's like, good movies. And pizza.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, and pizza. And then he's like, good movies to eat pizza by. And I was like, he's right. Like, it's awesome.
And that's like the real takeaway for me too. It's just like, yeah, exactly. Those are cool things. Like, why not be proud of that?
Yeah.
And it's a theme in Sopranos because people, you know, don't always view Tony as a, you know, some people are like, oh yeah, we love you, Tony. And then some people, you know, the people that aren't in his inner circle are like, this guy. Ooh, like his neighbors, you know, it's not something in this episode, I guess.
The Cusamanos.
Yeah. The Cusimano.
Dude, David Chase's the cinematography and stuff. This show was way ahead of its time. Like, there's so many things about this show that feel quintessential turn of the millennia, but like at the same exact time, there's like so much that like just you could tell just was a huge influence. You know what I mean? But like the scene, for instance, one thing that I'm talking about, the scene where Doc and her husband are arguing outside about him again, about Tony again. And the doctor is like, at the end of the day, once you get past all of the lovey-dovey fluff bullshit that therapy is, you're going to get down to good and evil. And you're going to see that he's evil. And then it just immediately cuts to Tony standing along that fence right before he hops in the car and like assaults Chris and shit.
Well, here's a good question. Do you guys think Tony Soprano is evil?
Not necessarily evil, but he's not good.
Oh, he's evil as hell.
He's yeah, but well, the show makes you try to like pick, is there evil or is there just is there mental illness? Is there sociopathicness?
No, I mean, I get what you're saying, and I agree.
He suffers.
I agree that he's a sociopath.
His life's trauma has turned him into a sociopath. His lack of love from his mom, the fact that his father was part of a violent subculture of his, you know, like there's a lot of factors playing into why he is the way he is.
No, I agree. And I think the show makes him very likable. And I would almost probably say that, like, I grew up at a time when, like, I mean, we grew up when mob culture was, like, at an all-time high. You know what I mean? Like, Godfathers, Goodfellas, all of those older movies were revered by classics as cinema classics that we had to watch like as soon as we were old enough to, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then you had Sopranos going on at this time, and Tarantino's like sudden burst into fame, you know.
Grand Theft Auto,
Grand
games
Theft
like
Auto,
that.
yeah. So we're at the prime time for mob culture, but I want to say that this is the most likable mafia like character that's ever been made.
For sure. And I don't think likable, like you could be evil and likable.
Yeah.
But to me, you were saying earlier, the scene right after that question is posed is the scene between him and Christopher. And it's actually a scene where you're seeing Tony really care about Christopher and he's actually trying to help him. He may be like heavy-handed about the whole thing, but he has
like
to be
literally
because he's making a great point. Yeah. But he's also just like, no, like every time Christopher's trying to like give an excuse or defend himself, he's like, yeah.
Also,
yeah.
he has one of the best lines, which I like in overall TV in general, when Christopher's like, you don't care about my feelings. He's like, I wipe my ass with your feelings.
Yeah. Dude,
that's something an Italian parent or grandparent would honestly say to you.
Oh,
That to me is a very like East Coast response. Like,
for sure.
Who gives
No
a fuck?
doubt. Yeah. And I completely agree with that. And I love, but I do want to say, like, in that scene, when Tony first gets into the car and then just like immediately hits Chris, even though it's like not like Tony's not out for blood, he's just like lightly, it's a love tap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But fucking Gandolfini has some big meaty paws. That still look like it hurt.
Gandolfini is like a 6'3", 6'4" giant. Like he's a big dude. Like Tony Soprano. What I love about him is like, you know, he's street smart, and you know, like, dude, like growing up, he like fist fought. And he has a reputation.
Yeah.
There's like an episode later on where it's when Meadow is in NYU or Columbia, and she's dating that nerdy dude Noah.
Yeah.
And Noah says to Carmela when he says something, when Tony said something racist to him, he says, quote, he's lucky I didn't punch his lights out. And I was like,
Yeah.
you against
It's
Tony
such a funny
Soprano?
moment.
Are you kidding
Yeah.
me? You would get rocked.
Yeah. Even Meadow knows, like, all right.
Even I was like, you're not going to be my dad in a fist fight.
Dude, but yeah, I love Gandolfini, man, because he's this thing. He's not like your stereotypical, he's like a big old ape of a man. You know what I mean?
He's a giant man.
Yeah. He's physically imposing.
Have you ever watched like interviews of him talking?
He's a gentleman in
Dude,
real
he's
life,
the
or he was a
most
gentleman.
soft-spoken, like almost like nervous, like kind of dude.
Yeah, no, very modest.
Very
Everyone
modest.
behind the scenes talks about how he was just the most kind and generous person. Like he'd do things for people and not want them to know it was him who did it. Like what? That's like the best guy ever. Like you know, you want to be a guy like that. Like,
but then he
complete opposite of the characters he's playing.
But which is sick because he chews up the scenery in any episode he's in. Like The Sopranos is a great everything show, but it's carried by James Gandolfini.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like heavy.
Gandolfini the goat, you know?
The Gandolfini the dude. You know what also in this episode's amazing because there's some of the funniest lines ever, especially when Christopher is going through his like existential crisis.
Yes.
And Paulie goes over to his apartment, it's like a mess, and Christopher says, you ever feel like you don't have an arc? And Billy goes, yeah, I didn't. So what? he said, I was born. He's like, I served in the military, got out.
Went to jail.
Went to jail, got out, went back to jail, did a few more years, and here I am, half a wise guy. It's just like, Paulie accepts life's fate and destiny.
Yeah, for sure.
But you're kind of combining two lines because he's like, you ever feel like nothing good's ever going to happen to you? And then Paulie's like, it's like, yeah, so what? Nothing ever did.
Yeah.
And then he says the whole thing about the arc. Yeah.
And then there's another scene where he's talking to Big Pussy. And
dude, that was so good.
And Pussy says, you know who had an arc? Noah.
Dude, Pussy, dude, but that line, because the thing is, a lot of the show is like comedic, and like it's one of those shows that, like, while it feels very grounded in reality, it is like a exaggerated kind of, you know, just like a more fantastical version of what the kind of stuff that was really happening. You know what I mean?
As far as what goes, I would argue otherwise, to be honest.
Yeah, it seems. I was gonna agree. It's pretty grounded in reality. I would say like those moments make it feel more grounded because it's a real moment. Like it's funny, not purposely. It's not like it's like kind of really dark. Why it's funny?
Yeah,
you know?
no, but
like,
when Pussy says all you got to do is put more people in the ground and you'll start sleeping better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like.
But like I would say, do you mean like as far as like crimes being committed or shit they say?
No, I'm just saying like in the sense of like,
because to me, Breaking Bad
is hyper violent.
Is hyper violent, not as realistic as like the crimes you see in The Wire or Sopranos.
No, and I agree with you too. I'm not saying that this is like hyper violent or anything, even to any of those shows, like crime shows that came while we were adults or whatever. Like, it's not nearly as hyper violent as those. But I'm just saying, like, it's. All of these characters are just like so magical. You know what I mean? Like they're all really well written and they're these like over the top, like to get I think I'm not saying they're not, that it's not grounded in reality, but it's just like, I don't know. It's just a very, I'm having a hard time saying what I'm trying to say.
Cody, it's like the regular way of life is too fucking hard for you or something.
Nice.
That's another good line.
This episode in particular is full of good lines. Also,
it really is.
Did you notice before he ever becomes a character, Vito Spatafor in the bakery shop?
Yeah.
Yep. They call him Gino, it's just he's not the same guy.
He's not the same guy at all, but it's definitely the same actor.
And what a great fucking scene in general too.
Also, a callback to his part in Goodfellas where he gets shot in the foot by
shot in the foot. Yeah.
And the dude behind the bakery says, "You shot me in the foot," and Christopher replies, "It happens."
Yeah. Have you not seen Goodfellas, Anthony?
Yeah, of course. I've seen it a few times. Hey, I've seen Goodfellas. Come on.
Whoa.
Hey, yo.
Whoa.
The suffers when he slams the donuts down on the pool table.
Oh, the Spinadel.
Yeah, Spinadel. That's it.
Yeah, he gets so mad and picks up the fucking cookies and everything.
Yeah, dude. Pauly's great. Pauly's
great, dude.
Dude, he's one of the best. Dude, honestly, this show has so many good characters. I have like the smallest of gripes, but it's not like
Let's hear it.
I don't have any in this episode.
But now,
or this is honestly like one of the best episodes ever.
Yeah.
Like ever made. Like the way it starts out in that fever dream that he's having where like, dude, you can just tell it's a dream because like in that opening shot, he's like moving through, but you can tell he's not walking. He's like riding on something that's moving slowly.
It's like a Spike Lee does it in all of his movies.
Exactly.
The character just like moves forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a cool dream. And it's after he shot the guy from an earlier episode.
Yeah, and one of the things that leads into the whole FBI indictments. And
which another Anthony, I feel like as an Italian, I feel like this episode was very Italian culture heavy. They even talk about Alexander Graham Bell. Did you feel
that whole dinner
some
table
kind of
scene
a
again?
way watching it?
This is what I'm saying. Like when I only watched Sopranos for the first time last year. So, Sopranos was not something that was ever. Here's what I'll say. Like watching Sopranos made me connect to being an Italian a bit more in a way I wasn't expecting. Like I was kind of like, okay. And it was scenes like that where they're having it and it's real, but like, there's the two separate dinner table scenes and the way Tony handles it is different from the way Melfi's family handles it.
I didn't even think about that. You're right.
Yeah.
And two different sides of the coin.
Exactly.
And which is interesting. I'm just going to cut you off for one more second. At the end, the last episode of this season, the FBI agent brings Tony in and he goes, "You and me have certain shared cultures." He's like, "You on one side, me on the other, but we both believe in family." And like, so like they acknowledge is like some Italians are in the mafia.
Yeah. This episode, wasn't it the first intro with Hayes? Is that his name? FBI agent?
FBI agent, yep.
Yeah.
He's a recurring character. Yeah. It's the first time they meet. Yeah, good call, Cody.
Dude, first episode with him.
Agent Harrison.
Harrison, that's who it was, not Hayes, yeah. But
Agent Hayes.
But anyway, Harrison, dude, I love that thing when he's like, their banter back and forth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I like that he was honestly, no cop is going to not kick in a door. You know, I like that that Harrison was like that. You know what I mean? But also, when Tony was like, "Oh, you can keep any quarters you find," and then Harrison's like,
"He's like, you trying to bribe me?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, and also I like when that other agent Grosso accidentally drops that thing.
Oh, the bowl. Yeah.
And Tony hears his name. He goes Grosso, and he says, "Que faccio culo che si."
Yeah,
And he's
like, "Shove it up
"Whoa."
your ass."
Yeah.
And so, and then he goes, "Your ass."
Yeah, you're right.
Che faccio culo che. I like when the moments where people do speak Italian in the show.
Yeah,
because even if you don't know what they're saying, you get the intent behind it easily.
Tony was not welcoming him. He was like, "Tell him to go fuck himself."
Yeah, and this was a really long-running show. It's really cool seeing all of these actors in like Tony's like almost kind of like he's still a big man, but he's like the slimmest he is in the show.
Yeah.
You know? No, yeah. This is the slimmest James Gandolfini ever is in the show.
Yeah, and then Junior is like way younger and sharper looking than he gets by the end when he's like a bedraggled old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone's just like Chris is a boy in this one. You know?
Yeah, he's a little young kid in this.
Yeah.
And Edie Falco looks good as Carmela.
Yeah, dude. The ladies, the ladies of the Sopranos, you know?
Dude, I love at the dinner scene when I forget they're talking about something and Meadow's like, "I'm just saying," and then AJ goes, "Can you just shut the fuck up about it?" Like, there's very like realistic, like American nuclear family shit in this.
No, it's totally relatable. It's totally relatable.
You don't have to be Italian to relate to that scene.
Yeah. Also, when Meadow in that scene, she mentions the mafia. She already knows. She's not stupid. Like she knows what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, but in his eyes, he's like doing the naive dad thing where he like knows she knows, but he also like, and he's like, "Oh, maybe if I just pretend," you know?
Yeah.
And so he's just like,
that's the cool thing about Sopranos, right? Tony Soprano's living a double life. Basically, it's kind of like a superhero show where he's trying to hide his secret identity from his family, but it's not really like that. But you know, he's keeping
is the superhero,
his work life and his family life separate.
Yeah,
he's trying his best to.
Also, you know what I always thought, or now it's weird, but it's a cool point of contention in this. In that Christopher gets really mad when the news outs Brendan Palmici as or Brendan Falone,
an enforcer or someone. Yeah,
and then he's like, "What the fuck?" And like in the mafia, you're not even supposed to be known, and he wants to have his name in the paper and in the news.
He's an idiot.
And Tony even says it's like cut off that cowboy shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like when they dig up the dead body with Georgie, and Georgie's like, "Oh my god, look at him!" and starts throwing up and shit.
He's like, "That's the kind of shit people want to do when they want to get caught."
Yeah. He's like, "Oh yeah, I want to get caught." He's like, "Yeah, you do." But I know what he means. It's like, yeah, that's kind of like if you're bringing attention to yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, that's Christopher's whole point of writing the script. He just wants people to know him. He wants to be famous. He wants to be the top dog. And that is his arc, right? That's what we see him. He's ascends the ranks of, we see him become whatchamacallit when he gets, what is it called when he gets
the producer of Cleaver, dude. He
becomes the producer of Cleaver.
He gets made. He becomes a made guy.
Made man. There we go.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't know why I couldn't think of that.
Dude, do you guys think you could be in the mafia?
Yes.
I think Cody, you could be in the mafia. You would never reach like capo status.
Oh no.
You're more of like, let's send Cody to go deal with it.
Yeah.
And then like they're about to be intimidated, but you're just like, "What's up, guys?" And they all have a blast.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Coming out, and they're like, "Did you pick up the money?" And you're like, "Oh shit, I totally forgot."
I totally forgot.
You're like, "We started doing DMT and had crazy river orgies." It kind of
No, dude, for real. I 100%. I think I would go into the mafia, but I would end up getting killed just because I'd fuck up at some point. You know what I mean?
think that's realistic. Anthony, what about you?
Would I? Not willingly.
Okay, so not willingly, but let's do another scenario. You are in the mafia. What do we picture Anthony as?
Snitch.
I really resent that. Why am I a snitch?
Only because you snitched to your buddy about that comic book episode, about those comics or Game Boy games that he stole from you.
Yeah, the video games that you stole.
Yeah.
You told the principal.
That's the
I
only
didn't tell
reason.
the principal. I
told the
told the counselor. Yeah, the counselor.
Oh.
Either way, what? Oh, that makes me a snitch. Whatever.
Yeah.
I got my games back, didn't I?
Yeah, that's gonna be you when the cops are throwing life at you. You're gonna be like, "Well, I got my life back, didn't I?"
But I wouldn't snitch. I wouldn't snitch on family or friends. You know what I mean? That's the
okay.
difference.
So he's a
You
real
see,
made
like,
man.
yeah, exactly. You don't snitch
Cody,
on your
you never
family.
got made. You wouldn't even know about it. You're just a mere
man.
low level associate.
Oh man,
I would do that. I would give Anthony like Silvio like a consigliere.
Yeah,
role.
I'll take. Yeah, exactly. I'll be Sylvia.
Anthony's very level headed. I feel like in times.
Yeah, I got to keep the boss in line.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
gotta.
you need to be like the voice of reason when me and Cody are going at it.
Jake, what about you? What do you think you are?
Come on, dog. You serious?
You think you're top dog?
I'm Tony
You're
Soprano.
Paulie.
Man.
Oh,
I'm Paulie.
Look out of here.
I'll
yeah.
take Paulie though. I like Paulie.
yeah, I'd give you Polly. No
I would
arc.
Oh shit!
Well, wait, Jake.
No,
as
now
you
I
know,
don't
I
want Paulie. Fuck that. Cody doesn't get to win this.
no, I was gonna make a really cool case for Paulie, and that by the end of Sopranos, you know, he lands in a pretty good role in a pretty good spot.
He's one of the few people to survive the entire series.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, so I'll also take minus the snitch part, of course. Big pussy.
I could see that. I could
'Cause
see
Big
that
Pussy
too.
is
Yeah.
a cool dude until you find out he's a snitch, and you're just like, ah.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
a bitch.
He's a great character.
Okay, so who do you guys think?
I feel like Cody's Bob. Oh well, he's not even in season one.
Bobby
Is he, or-
Bacalieri.
Bobby
I could
Bacala.
see-
Yeah,
I could be Bobby. I could see Bobby. I could see.
I can see Bobby.
I could see minus.
because he's a family man.
And I could see minus the gay thing, Vito.
I could see you being Vito too.
Yeah,
he was
Vito
a funny
too, yeah.
character too, honestly.
Yeah,
Or including the gay thing. You seem very fluid when it comes to that, Cody.
dude. I mean, yeah, sure. I'll take Vito.
You'll take Vito or you'll be Vito.
Why not both, baby?
Hey!
I'm gonna actually. I got a better one. Anthony is Vito's son when he finds out he's gay.
I become an emo
Yeah,
kid.
you become the emo kid.
I shit in the shower.
Yeah,
Spoilers.
yeah, that's you. No,
Vito's son.
nice.
No, who did we say Anthony would be? Oh, Silvio.
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 I get Paulie. I don't get to be. I feel like I'm wearing a very Gandolfini shirt right now.
I'd give you before Gandolfini. I'd give you Ralph.
I love
Ralph.
Ralph. Honestly.
Dude, he's insane.
He's insane. Yeah, I'll take Ralph.
Just
It's too bad. Well, we will get to talk about him later. Actually.
yeah.
Yeah, he's not in
But let's
this,
get back
season.
to okay. So now that we've established each other, one thing I want to do want to mention. I love that this episode ended with a cake song.
Yeah, I didn't
Oh,
know
yeah,
who
it did, yeah.
I know what you're talking about, but I didn't know what they were. Who they were?
Yeah, they're this like very 90s. They came out like very end of the 90s, early 2000s.
Did you know Steven Van Zandt is the guy who picks out the songs for the show?
Yo, really?
Silvio, yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, he's also in Bruce Springsteen's band.
Dude, yeah. Real Silvio? Like Steven Van Zandt? He's like a fucking hippie, wears a bandana, had long hair.
He plays
back in the
guitar.
day.
Yeah, he's in the
Plays
E Street
guitar,
Band.
yeah.
I
He's
had
like the exact
no
opposite of Silvio
fucking
Dante.
idea.
Yeah, that's Bruce
Yeah.
Springsteen's guitarist. Silvio.
Dude,
Bruce
and
Springsteen's
wasn't he
guitarist.
in that one Netflix mob show?
He was
Yes,
in,
yes,
yeah, which is
yes.
terrible. I watched like the first 3 episodes.
Lilyhammer, is that what it was
Lilyhammer.
called?
He goes to like he goes to fucking Norway, and it's not good.
I didn't watch it.
But it also can
Yeah.
be if you watch it. When you watch it, you could totally be like, this could be Silvio's comatose dream,
Like a spin-off. Yeah. I like Silvio a lot. In this episode, he really only has one line.
Yeah, he's
and
not
it's
prevalent in this episode, but he's.
it is when Christopher drops everything on the table and he's like, "Oh, well, you're raising a barn?"
Yeah.
Like,
You know what I love about this show is like moments like that where the guys show like this weird sense of like etiquette and respect, but will steal.
it's not weird. It's like an Italian cultural
No, I
thing.
know,
Like
but
there's
you know what
just
I mean?
things like
they're very big on certain things of etiquette and respect. And
No, I totally get what you
meanwhile,
mean, yeah.
they're common thieves and criminals and murderers.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's
it's
like,
kind of like honor among thieves kind of
yeah,
like
exactly.
code.
Yeah, it's like are you,
That's why when the other families fuck around and do fucked up shit as the series goes on, it becomes an issue because
Yeah.
it's like we establish rules and you're fucking everything up.
Yeah. Damn,
That's when it gets intense.
Anthony follows the code harder than we knew.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe
Like
Anthony's Tony
it's
Soprano. No, actually, Anthony, you're AJ Soprano.
I'm AJ Soprano. Playing video games, get the fucking doorbell.
Yeah. I love when AJ says, "Is it true Chinese people invented spaghetti?" And Tony goes, "Think about it." He's like, "Why would you invent something that needs a fork to be eaten?"
But also, like, that's something my dad would say if I had asked that as a kid. I swear to God, like, it's ignorant, but it's like, it's hilarious. And that's an important thing as it goes on, because as Meadow becomes more like left liberal minded and like gets into college, and she's like really active, in the community and everything like that. Like, she brings up more heated topics, and like the whole Columbus episode, and it's kind of a similar vibe.
Facts.
But that's what I always like about Sopranos. It surprised me when it dropped like moments like that, where I was like, damn, like I thought this was just going to be like a different kind of show.
Dude, the show has it all,
Has it all.
Drama.
It really does.
It's a family drama. It's it's one of the first shows I know of that really like put a heavy emphasis on mental health.
Yeah. Do you know what else I like? Is in the beginning when they're all at the wedding and they find out indictments are going to be handed down, so they all take the money they gave to the bride back.
Yeah.
Did you peep that scene?
Yeah.
They're all going back to
It's
the bridal
hilarious.
person. Like, I need that back. It's so cheap.
Dude, it's so funny. I love the scene when Carmela takes Tony's mom, and while she's doing that, he's hiding all of his guns and money in his mom's belongings.
Yeah, and Livia knows something's wrong. She's like, "Why are you here unannounced? Like something's wrong," and she's trying to figure it out for a while.
Livia's no dummy.
No, not at all. We learn at the end of the episode she knows. Like that conversation between her and Junior, it's kind of Game of Thrones-esque. Like they're really the people running shit.
Definitely very Game of Thrones-esque.
Yeah.
Also, before that, when they leave the wedding and they're all hiding shit in their house, and Tony goes, "All right, you better give me all your jewelry." And Carmela starts taking off her necklace and her earrings. And then Tony's still waiting there, and all Carmela has left is her engagement ring. She was like, "What? This isn't stolen, is it?" And Tony looks down and goes, "No, what do you think I am?" And like you can tell he's lying. Like, you know what I mean? It's definitely stolen. He's like, "What do you think I am?"
What do you think I am?
Yeah, just like little shit like that.
Dude, yeah, it's just it's also so good, man.
Very good.
Is this your favorite episode of season 1, Jake?
You know what? I didn't think so until I just rewatched it literally before we hopped on today. And I don't know. I think it's like a really super strong episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
Like
Yeah. I would say it's one of my favorite. I don't remember. See, I watched it I originally watched like the first 3 or 4 seasons back when I was living in New York, Jake. I had HBO then. But then when I moved home, I lost HBO, and this wasn't when like streaming was everything. So I just like didn't ever finish the show. And then I rewatched the show from the beginning and just went all the way through during the pandemic. And
nice.
Definitely my favorite watch during the pandemic, without like bar none.
I rewatch Sopranos, no exaggeration, once a year. Sometimes when I'm eating lunch and I'm here, I'll just like throw on a rando episode.
Nice.
This is like fun to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I'll say this is definitely one of the strongest of season 1.
I mean, it has all the elements that you would get in a normal Sopranos episode. Like it starts with a dream sequence.
Yeah.
It's got a scene. It's got multiple scenes where he's talking to his psychiatrist, Dr. Melfi. It's got the family scenes. It's got the mob scenes. It's got everything
hits on,
that's
cultural things, mental health issues. Like it hits on a lot.
It has everything that like it's a good, like if you've never seen an episode of Sopranos, why not check this one out? Like I think it would be a good sampling.
The quintessential Sopranos episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I've got so this was season 1, episode 8. Jake, why did you pick this one for us?
Because it's one of the few ones where like Christopher, he wants to be a screenwriter, even though in a few episodes prior, Tony says for him to knock that shit off. So he's like still not listening to Tony. He like it's cool. I picked it because like Christopher's aspirations, had he not been born into a life of organized crime, would have been strictly to be film.
Yeah.
But like because he's in a life of crime, he is like this sociopathic criminal, comes from a broken home. with the alcoholic mother. You know what I mean? Like, so I think it was cool to see him caught in between his aspirations of really wanting to be in film and his circumstances, which is like he's in the Tony Soprano crew.
Yeah.
And
but it's also interesting though, because what would he write about if he wasn't in that life?
Exactly. So
you know?
one might argue that without him being in organized crime, he never would have made the classic hit Cleaver.
Yeah.
Starring Danny Bolton.
Also, maybe because of his like privilege and like, I mean, I'm not saying he didn't have it hard, but like one of Christopher's traits, especially early on, is like that he, because of the life that he lives and the people he has around him, that he can get away with anything. You know what I mean? So do you think...
Well, he gets away with shooting a guy in the foot.
Yeah. Are you saying Christopher benefits from white privilege or criminal privilege?
I think a combination of the two.
Really?
But also, I would say more of like, do you think it's because of his like untouchable, like the idea that nothing bad will ever happen to him, that he even is bold enough to take a stab at writing? Because if you read those lines, it's terrible.
Yeah, like Adriana has to read every line after. She's like, I'm not doing that. I need you to write some more.
She's even reading it and it says, I managed, spelled with a U. To do something. And she's like, do you mean managed or do you mean a manouge or some Italian
word? Yeah, some Italian word.
Christopher's like, oh, yeah. So Christopher's like low-key illiterate.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, that's... Yeah. Which is just another cool detail. But when you meet, like... Oh, sorry.
Well, so what I'm saying is, like, do you think the only reason he's... like got the sociopathic, because it's kind of insane for him to be as fucking stupid as he is and be like, I'm gonna be a great filmmaker.
Well, see, that's the thing though. All these people, Tony and all of them, they're not street stupid.
No, Chris is very street smart.
Yeah,
I'd even argue that he's not that street smart. Because
because he's a cowboy doing stupid shit, digging up dead bodies.
No, but I mean, even throughout the series, you know what I mean? Like he just like constantly. It's a lot of time. If Tony wasn't his big cousin, he probably wouldn't have made it that far.
Right, that's his privilege right there.
Exactly.
That Tony is related to Tony, so that's why Tony has that scene with him in a car. Like if it was anyone else, they'd probably be fucked up.
Yeah.
Well, and there's episodes afterwards with the intervention episode where he even tells Christopher, he's like, were this anyone else, you would have got your intervention through the back of the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's also in the last season ever, when Christopher dies, Tony legit just gives up and fucking holds his nose closed. And prevents him. Like, you know what I mean? Like he even like you see him in that episode. He's like glad to be rid of him.
Yeah, it's almost like a sigh of relief.
Christopher was a burden, low key.
Yeah.
By that point in the series, for sure,
he's a burden. Yeah,
he does. It's interesting. In this episode, he's talking about. He's like, "Where's my arc?" Like you said, "Where's my arc?" And we're seeing the beginning of his arc, and like he explains, you got to start off on the bottom. And he does, rise, but his life gets progressively more fucked up. He gets addicted to heroin. He gets addicted to a lot of shit.
No, he didn't start it. He wasn't in this episode, was he?
No, in season 1, he's already addicted to. He's a drug user already.
He already shot up in this season.
I thought it doesn't happen until later.
No, he's always been a drug user. I'll tell you right now. And it's the season when Meadow comes to him to get crystal meth so she can study for the SATs. It's when Brendan Fallone is still alive. And then she says, fine, I'll just go down to Jefferson Avenue and get it. And Adriana, don't mess with me, dog. Adriana says, you can't let her go down there. They'll rape her and kill her. And so he's already using drugs and selling them. Christopher's always been.
I was honestly didn't even know.
For some reason, I thought it was something that just doesn't happen until season 2 or 3.
No, it's just implied that he's like low-key, like a drug user. His mom's an alcoholic. The rumor is that his dad was a drug addict.
Yeah.
Although you find out in the Many Saints of Newark that he was not whatsoever.
Not even close.
God, that's such a dumb.
Yeah, that was such a dumb thing. But
how about we just strike it from canon?
Yeah, we will not. I agree, man. I'm not putting Many Saints of Newark as canon for me.
It doesn't need to be, I guess.
All the copies should be shot out of a cannon, maybe.
All right, cool. Well, let's fucking finish it out. How many Joe Pesci's?
Joe Pesci.
We given this one episode, and then
one episode or the season?
Well, ooh.
Because it's like a sampling of the season.
Why don't we do both?
Yeah, why don't we do both? So, as far as episode goes, I'm giving it a 6.
Yeah, hands down, one of the best episodes of Sopranos. Yep, 6.
Easy 6.
Okay, season 1 of Sopranos. I think you know what sucks is that it's the first season, first show of its kind. So
it starts out really slow.
It starts out a little slow, but I mean the show is still amazing.
Yeah,
I'll give it like a 5.5. Season 1. And I know it in depth. So
can't believe you're going to do this to our boy David Chase. You're going to do this to James.
Cody already wasn't going to give it a 6. I could see it in his face.
Oh, really? Because I was going to straight up say season 1 is one of my favorite seasons of the whole show.
And you were going to give it a 6?
Yeah.
Damn, I amend my thing. I honestly went off what I wrongly presumed was Cody's impression.
Oh, so you became a poser, the one thing?
Oh, no. I'm a poser.
No, but I give it a 6 strictly because this is my favorite season between James and the Doctor. I feel like later on in the show, they kind of let that thread
between James and the Doctor.
Yeah, the good Doctor.
Yeah. James and the Giant Peach.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
No, but
James and the Doctor.
No, but what I'm saying is like it's the strongest. It's the most emphasis they put on it. I just really love that about this show.
There's a lot of them in this season.
And I feel like they let it slide a little bit later on. And I'm not saying the show lacks because of it. I still think it's a great show. But I think this is one of what made the show so cool and hip instead of just and unique instead of just like another mob story.
Yeah, because I feel like every other show also probably copied that, going to a therapist scene and the way they shot it and the way it's presented, And also, I agree, because when you go to the later seasons and you lose more of that, like some of the scenes that they have together, even in this episode, like it's intense, and the part where she's like, "Well, we agreed if you miss a session, you still have to pay," and he starts throwing money at her like she's like a stripper, and he's like. He basically makes it rain. He's like, here, fucking take the money. He's like, you want to be a call girl? And it's just like so fucked up. And she you see the terror in her eyes because you don't know, and she doesn't know if she knows he's in the mob, but you don't know as someone watching, and she doesn't know if he's gonna just fucking do something like smack her or just do something violent.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's stereotyping. On Melfi's part.
Yeah, but also he's terrifying.
But he gets in her face. Yeah, he stands up.
It is
screaming.
terrifying if James Gandolfini stands up and starts
throwing money at you and calling you a whore, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, some might like it. Who knows? I don't kink shame anyone.
I don't think she likes
James Gandolfini did that to me.
Cody's gonna start twerking.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna also give the season a 6 because I thought, I can't find, I love Sopranos, and like I said, Sopranos made me more Italian, so gets a 6.
And I think it's just one of the best seasons of the show. At the end,
not every season is going to get a 6 from me.
Same.
I'll say that.
I will too.
Oh yeah, I agree. Not every season will get a 6, but
I will just want to say that the worst season of The Sopranos is better than most shows out there that's ever been made.
For sure.
Easily,
for sure. It's one of those. Yeah.
It's only worse by Sopranos standards.
Yeah.
Like it only has itself to be measured up against. You know what I mean?
Right. Like the Pesci scale, the Sopranos can only be measured against itself.
This is probably the best thing we've ever used the Pesci scale on.
Oh yeah, the most accurate.
Yeah. This is what the Pesci scale was invented for.
Yeah, building to this. This is our end game.
So we need another scale.
No.
He's like the
find a picture of Joe Pesci with maybe his arms out. And then have the scales in each, and
Photoshop scales in each. Yeah, okay, we can do something like that.
Like or even just Pesci's face over Lady Liberty or something.
Oh, so him as fucking My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah, but I guarantee, in the Casino or Goodfellas, there's a scene where Joe Pesci's like, and then you could make these scales.
Yeah, wait,
that'd be sick.
I'll see what I could do.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm gonna give it a 6 too, you guys.
Yeah.
I was just fucking with you.
The show
totally fell for it.
Yeah,
it was a classic me.
No, definitely. This is one of my favorite seasons, specifically for the therapy sessions and their relationship.
I agree.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Well, thank you for tuning in for episode 1 of Sopranos Summer. All right, guys. Well,
all right. Well, tune in.
So
This is the schedule. And guess what, guys? We're going to tell you this now, but if you forget, you have to listen to the end of the next episode to know what's coming up.
And you can't skip ahead. That's cheating.
Yeah, if you
that's
do,
cheating.
Anthony's gonna code in a special block that'll you can only access that part of the episode by listening to all of it in its entirety.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I could totally do that too.
Yeah.
Anthony is capable of doing that.
Yeah.
But if you would like to keep up with us here at Comics and Chronic while we do Sopranos Summer, you can tune in to season 2 of The Sopranos, episode 4, Commendatory. Season 3, episode 6, University. Season 4, episode 6, Everybody Hurts.
Ooh.
Season 5, episode 12, Long-Term Parking. Season 6A, episode 1, Members Only. And season 6B, episode 9, Made in America.
Nice.
Oh yeah, we do a whole episode dedicated to the finale. Nice.
I had to pick it. I picked
Yeah.
that simply. I was like, if we're going to talk about anything, the last one's got to be the finale.
Oh yeah, of course. Ooh, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. This is just the beginning.
Yeah. Get ready. Get ready to find out the arc.
Yeah, get ready to see what Anthony's and Cody's arc is. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe we'll change.
No.
Maybe by the end I'll be Tony Soprano.
Oh, yeah, maybe one of us will be dead.
With the fishes.
Maybe we'll all be wearing guinea tees by the end of
Oh,
Sopranos
shit.
Summer.
That'd be hilarious. We should. Dude, Cody, you have a lot of hair. If you like greased your hair,
Yeah, you could be like that.
Yeah.
nice.
Cody can make his hair look like Sylvia.
Oh, Tony. Yeah, Cody, you got to do silver hair.
Dude, if it was any longer, I could almost do a Furios.
Oh, Furio.
Ooh, Fury.
Ooh,
I think
yeah.
I could do if I dye the sides of my thing. I could do
Polly.
walnuts.
You'd have to slick the top back.
Yeah, I'll send
Yeah.
the top back and then do it.
Nice.
Nice.
Well, all right, guys.
Ciao,
Peace.
As they say.
as you say.
Hi, you're listening to Comics and Chronic, and I'm Jacob H.
I'm Cody Cannon.
And I'm Anthony Iannaccio.
And you can tune in every Thursday to hear new episodes of Comics and Chronic.
And make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Comics N Chronic. That's comics, the letter N, Chronic.
We'll see you guys next week.
Woo!
Peace.